damn, this, what his name is? Whoever, Slim Thug, whoever do this, Future Ciara, situation got sisters in they feels. They are triggered, which I already get it. I know what that's all about. You know what I mean? I said from day one, the conversation was not needed to be discussed because a lot of women are living vicariously that situation. For them, it's this weird Tyler Perry Lifetime Cinderella ending, and you know, all her efforty and bad decisions were resolved because she made the right decision in the end. And again, a lot of you sisters love that shit, right? It's your thing. It's your, y'all gonna protect this union. Hell, Jamila Lemieux was on Twitter when this first happened. Not only was she elated that he left the Becky for a black woman, but he left her in particular for a single mom. That's what your wanna-be in black media space girl Jamila Lemieux said, right? I'm a staunch feminist. Her. But I get it. But we gotta go on our receipt bag, right? We gotta be realistic. I hate that we gotta respond to stuff that we don't say in our videos and people projecting their own bull. You know, dudes are bitter and why are people talking about this? And it's like, wait a minute. All the lovely TIs and all these other so-called gossip people talk about stuff like this every day. But for whatever reason, this conversation should be off limits for men, and we shouldn't even render our opinion. I look at it this simple, ladies. The same way that black men who have nothing to lose or gain from the situation are saying, if Russ was our guy, if he was our brother, our son, our homie, we're going to say, yo, this is not in your character. This type of woman you're with right now is totally out of your league in regards to the ratchetry that's going on social media, the going back and forth. You know, little Future's going to see all this shit when he gets older. His dad disrespecting his mom being petty, using him as a pawn to stunt on her ex. All that shit is going to be on the interwebs forever, right? So we're saying, if he was my brother, he was my guy, I would have the same words with him. Ironically, that's not what sisters or the women in Ciara circles did to her before she got with Future. People saying things like, what's wrong with her leveling up? I agree with everything y'all saying as far as she leveled up. She did the right thing. She did what she was supposed to do. I think Russ took an L. It's just that simple. And that's what most men are saying. None more, none less. For whatever reason, y'all want to act brand new. And again, I get it. Because a lot of y'all are living vicarious to the situation. Y'all love to see the win. I remember Crystal Kerrison complaining about, well, white women can be trash and garbage and still luck up and get a billionaire. I get it. This is y'all version of that. So y'all happy. Not a billionaire, but you got a couple $100 million. Whatever. We think Russ took a L. We think Ciara upgraded. It's that simple. If he was our boy or we knew him in real life, we would say the same shit to him in person. Now, it's different when this shit happens in real life, which I really see that it does, because women don't want to acknowledge that when you have a child by a certain caliber of person, that shit follows you and you will be judged and can be judged by that. Discretion, right? The pro-blackity black women who find out that they black dude got with a white girl, they're disgusted by that. They don't want him anymore. He's judged by that, right? And I don't know why women want to act like that doesn't exist. Now, it's different in real life because you live in the same city with the girl who has the baby by the Pookie and Ray Ray. I see the commentary on social media every day of chicks who was with dudes who were street dudes or whatnot, and they locked up and they doing a bid or whatever, and her friends or his family is going back reporting what she doing on social media and yada yada. Who trying to deal with all that drama? The average educated lame or corny dude, which we don't define these things, women do, because they choose men and they label us in that category. Apparently they have these boxes for us to put in. We're not putting y'all in boxes, they put us in boxes. Some dudes admit that they lame and they corny. Some dudes think they just normal and they don't know that that's the way they're perceived. But it is what it is. We don't determine that. You ladies do that. And men like Future and Slim Thug do too, because 9 times out of 10, the reason why Slim Thug is saying what he said, because he's probably got a girl that he's smashing that's with or married to a lame dude on the low. Let's keep that real. Dude's Future brags about banging other men's wives, and I'm sure it's a lot of Pookies and Ray Rays that smash and blowing backs out on balls deep and some dude like Russell Wilson while he's at work, because she is really attracted to that, and that's what gets her off. Now, I'm gonna leave some clips later on of Deborah Cooper, the Wicked Witch of the West. Well, the second one, I'll say she's the queen because Deborah, the other one, the white feminist lady's the queen, and she's basically saying what I at least give her credit for saying. I don't think it's gonna be true, but she's saying like, yo, this is the phase that justices go through. This is what y'all do. In fact, I think all races of women go through the phase and do it, but other races of women, they kind of wake up a little bit sooner. They're not 40 still talking about good boys are no fun and bad boys are no good. Dumbass shit that Mary was saying. You know, it's in our music. Jasmine Sullivan, I'm in love with another man. Like, I have a good dude, but I gotta end it with you because I want this dude that beat the shit out of me. Right? Let's not act like that y'all don't go through that shit. It's all in your music. It's all in your movies. It is what it is. But it don't matter, right? Because again, y'all living vicariously through the situation. So no matter how much you point out and say what you say, y'all gonna hear what y'all want to hear. We said that Future was a piece of shit. And we agree that you should have never had spread your legs for a piece of shit and had a baby by him. That's all we're saying. And I love the honesty of some women who admit. I remember a meme a long time ago. It was basically saying, you know the dude ain't shit. Why you messing with him and this and that? And the girl responded to me, we know he ain't shit, but he blowing my back out. Something like that. Pause. But it is what it is. So I love the honesty of women when they talk like that. When they're being real. They're not acting all fake and weird and all these women talking about, oh, I like lames or he's not a lame and this and that. And I know women even called Russell Wilson gay when Ciara started dressing him with all tight suits and stuff like that. So this idea that he was this standard and that they was feeling him, all the other black male quarterbacks in the league have a strong black female following. Dude from the Bills, Tyrod Taylor had it. Not RG3 because RG3 has a Becky, and even Rob Parker got fired from ESPN because he called RG3 a cornball brother, right? So even black men are referring to certain black men as lames and corny or whatever. But yeah, why are we acting like we don't know what this is? She practiced hypergamy, she leveled up, she did what she's supposed to do. Granted, good, but I think Russ took an L. He's younger. He's probably enamored by her celebrity. She got his ass. Hopefully it works out. If it don't, y'all think these videos from men now are bad because they're doing them and covering it? Wait till if something like that happens. Now, personally, I don't think a video needs to be done if what we expect. And that's what Slim Thug said in his video. The way the media keeps hyping it up and putting it up, it's going to backfire on y'all. That's what he believes. I hope not. I hope not for the sake of y'all feelings, because y'all really gonna get in y'all feelings if that happens. I think men should not respond if that did happen. Just, you know, let that shit right out. Let the actions speak for themselves. Don't you get involved. But anyways, I'm gonna leave a couple of videos of a discussion between Deborah Cooper and the mama from Baby Boy, AJ, whatever. She's like 50 something years old and she's still in shape, not looking good. And they talking about the same topic. And you even got like an educated lane, you can hear it in his voice, calls in like, why are black women choosing thugs and Pookies and Ray Rays and whatnot? And as long as Deborah Cooper's been online, and I haven't listened to her shit in years, she's been having this conversation and debate her entire YouTube career. So this is nothing new. Why are we acting dumb? Right, remember that scene in I Think I Love My Wife where Kerry Washington was talking to Chris Rock? And, you know, Chris Rock was the educated lame. He was minding his own business. He was doing his own thing. She tries to come in and then, you know, mess up his happy home. Well, which was not really happy. He was bored. But she comes through, and after he finally shoot her off, it's like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna keep my wife and my family. And I'm gonna be happy, whatnot, and or just exist in this boring situation that's stable and whatnot. She moved on. Now, her character was dating, at the time, it was Charlie Murphy, who was portraying a thug in the movie. And she's like, well, I just recognized that I was 32 years old. I was the old bitch in the club, and I was getting replaced by the younger, more attractive woman, so I had to decide that it's time for me to settle down. Anywho, Chris Rock asked her, do you love the guy that you're marrying? She's marrying the fat dude from The Wire, the dude who got the schools in New Orleans. And Chris Rock's like, do you love him? And she's like, love? Maybe in the future, pun intended. eventually, but no, this ain't about love. This is about stability. This is about me not having to live in a small ass apartment. This is about being able to take them 3 vacations a year and having a couple kids and put them in private school. That's what it was about. Stability. And I do remember, I wish I had the clip. I wish I could find it. I was looking online for that shit. But if you look at Braxton Family season 1, I think, I watched that shit, yeah, because I did some commentary on it. Just season 1, though. And I think one of the daughters was trying to get the mom hooked back up because the mom was getting cheated on or whatever by their dad, and he was doing dirt. And she's like, never remarried or nothing like that. And she finally, at like 60, was dating again. And their daughter's asked her, so what is this about? And she's like, a woman's first marriage is about love. And that's back in the day when like women was getting married. Nowadays, y'all just having babies and not getting married. So back then, it's like a woman's first marriage is about love. Anything after that typically is about stability, or it's about not being lonely because you're sicker and you're not feeling well and you don't want to be doing it by yourself. That's what she said. I had a lot of people in the comment section talking about, so when do women marry for not stability and things of those nature? I'm like, well, you fooled me, because there's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube of black women, swirlers and Blackistan chicks and divest chicks and colorist chicks, all talking about women should marry up and practice hypergamy and all that other stuff. So apparently they're not doing a good job of doing that, because there wouldn't be so many women on YouTube making commentaries about that very topic. I remember another situation where an older black woman was saying she slipped up. She was mumbling, she was talking, and she was like, the only man I ever loved. And she let that shit slip out. And I'm like, God damn. But I took notes from that time as a young child when I heard her say that, because it wasn't her current husband, who she was married to for like 25 years at the time. He came in and saved her. He pulled the Russell Wilson, you know what I mean? She was divorced with 3 kids. He was there for the majority of their lives. It wasn't her first husband, who she got married to at like 16, back in the 40s, or back in the 50s or early 60s. But it was like her, Pookie, and Ray Ray, the fake bootlegger wannabe pimp dude who, I think he hit her. That's why they broke up. She whipped his ass. Different caliber of women back in those days. They wasn't being victims. They was whooping ass. But that was her dude who, you know, hit the bottom, blew her back out, made her happy, and she was in love with that motherfucker. But the man she married, she didn't say that was the only man she ever loved, right? It wasn't the dude that came in and rescued her and took on all those kids and whatnot. It was the dude that she was with in the beginning. That's just facts. And that's the debate that men have, is would you rather be loved or be respected? 9 times out of 10, a healthy man rather have respect, because they know that women are emotional and they're fragile and their decisions are swayed easily, and that love shit is not real. But that respect shit lasts forever and it's real. So yeah, it's a lot of men who know that those feelings, those butterflies they got, they'll never have that for them, because that's not what they truly desired. They smartened up. They made a better choice. They did what they were supposed to do. That's just life. It's just a game. We understand that. But women want to get into this vanity shit and make shit up. It is what it is.
You're getting married?
Yeah.
Nikki True is walking down the aisle?
I'm closing the deal. Sean is in real estate.
What happened?
Well, I was at this party. I was talking to this guy. I don't even remember what we were talking about. And this little 22-year-old girl walks by. And he was like, oh, excuse me, I gotta... And it hit me. Now I'm 32 years old. I'm the old bitch at the club now.
You're getting married. Do you love him?
Do I love him? In a few years, maybe. I'm gonna be like you. I'm gonna have a nice house, a nice husband, a couple kids, a nice, easy, dull, boring life. And I will never again have to live in a tiny-ass studio apartment.
Come on, don't hurt the guy.
What do you care? You hurt?
Don't go there.
You started it. Do I love him?
Like, yo, man, I was like, Ciara is such a girl. Girls always date one guy who's one way, and then they turn around and date someone else. And I'm like, could you be more the opposite of the person you were dating? So my question would be, is the man you are with now the anomaly, the one who's unlike your type, Or is the one you're with now really actually your type, and the other guys we've known you to be with not as much your type?
You know what I think in life for me, everything is about timing. And, you know, again, I've been able to have my experiences and learn from them and kind of figure out the thing that I think I really, that works for me and is best for me. And so, I mean, I don't know. That's all I can really say. I don't know.
You don't have one particular type of guy that is your thing. I mean, have you always, pre-being famous, did you always date different kinds of dudes? Like,
I was pretty consistent, if you really think about it. I've always had this thing for a rebel. And the street boy. That's always been my thing.
Well, when I think rebel and street boy, you know who I think? Russell Wilson. I think him hanging out in orphanages and hospitals and
between what women say they want in a man versus what they find themselves attracted to. Because like a moth to a flame, women are attracted to thugs, bad boys, and players. My guests tonight are going to help us figure out exactly why. You know, I have some theories. And, you know, there's some things, of course, that we all notice, one of which is, you know, think back to that show, that 1990s family sitcom called Family Matters with Jaleel White. Remember when he was Steve Urkel? How Laura was just so irritated with him. She didn't want to have anything to do with him. She rolled her eyes. She totally disrespected him. But when he came out as smooth, suave, debonair, Stefan, well, she was all over that. And it's the same thing with women. Now, one guy told me, he wrote and he says, you know, I can't really blame women because, you know, women make mistakes just like men do. You know, women are human, and they get confused about exactly what they want in a man. They make poor choices sometimes, just like men do. Relationships and sex are no exception to this rule. But he says, I read somewhere that the nice guy is looked at like a salad and the thug is looked at like the cake. Well, which one would you rather eat? Although the salad is healthier, the cake tastes better, even if it makes you fat. And although the nice guy may be a good father and husband and hit or miss in the sack, the thug gives short-term satisfaction and may be a crappy father and husband. So there it is. There's a double standard. We know what's healthy, but we know what we like to eat and what tastes good, even if it gives us a stroke later on in life. So that was his analogy of the good guys versus the players and the bad boys. So joining me,
it was completely different than what Carol was describing. But what I do feel like is one of my issues that I find a lot of women, and I did some interviewing from Hollywood celebrity women to single moms to career women, a lot of different kind of women. Carol, you may amen this or not, but we also don't find the right support group in our female surroundings. There's more women that have problems with men that are not talking to successfully married women or successfully married men. It's like, why are you going to your girlfriend who has never had a great relationship for her advice? It doesn't make sense to me. But we do it. We do it. And so to me, it's like, okay, when you said, Deborah, you know, what makes a woman do that? Okay, well, you know, when you have that date and the man is saying everything that he's supposed to say, there's got to be a support group in your repertoire of a lot of different men, a lot of different women that you can say, you know, I'm really kind of feeling this guy. This is what happened at our first date. What do you guys think? I'm not going to call any names, but I got 2 celebrity clients right now that will swear they're in the greatest relationships ever. But this is the other answer for me of what happens. They make a list of what they feel like is important for them to receive. And unfortunately, a lot of times, the non-bad boy behavior is not a priority on that list. We're very materialistic. We're very much, can you support my lifestyle financially? And as long as that's happening, can you take me and my girlfriends out? Can you help me travel? Can you show me things I can't do on my own? A lot of times lately, I think those things take priority over the basics in a man.
They're just looking for a different kind of relationship, though. You know, not everyone wants that white picket fence and 2.5 children.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, though. But again, if you don't want that, you're going to find yourself calling some guy a bad boy. When really it's, okay, well, let's check what you're really looking for. Because you may be dating the kind of guy you're attracted to, and it may not ever be a good guy in what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take this call from Liberal 14. Liberal, your mic's open. Hello?
I talked too long. They hung up.
I'm sorry. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry. One reason why a lot of
I can understand why women love bad boys. The rebel in them, the kind of person who's against the establishment. What I don't like are women who go for the thugs. The person, again, who's a rebel, I can understand that. Again, when you're over 30, 35, your values may change.
Right.
Like when I was younger, I liked putting up notches on my headboard. But now that I'm over 40, you can't bore me. If you're good looking and you're stupid, you gotta go. So it has to be more than just looks for a man, at least over 40. And for the woman, I was liking, I don't know who it was, until she said when she goes to a sports bar, she has to look for the guy with a suit. Why is a guy in a suit in a sports bar?
Okay, this is AJ. This is AJ, and let me correct you, because, again, communication is key, and words are very, very important. I didn't say I had to go for them. I said different than what I used to look at when I was younger. I'm attracted to a businessman. So I use that kind of clothing as an example. Now, there may be a businessman in the sports bar in jeans and a hat. I'm just not going to look at him initially thinking he's a businessman. Now, he may come to me with great conversation, and I'll say, wow, he's fun, like sports. You know, he could be somebody else. I'm not saying I won't give him the chance, but my point is, the older I've gotten, I look for different things. That was just an example of what I meant.
All right.
Yeah, her initial attraction, her eye is not going to be drawn to the guy with the sagging pants and the baseball cap turned to the side.
I heard that, but why would a guy in a suit, unless he's right off of work in a sports bar, he'd be thrown right out of the sports bar.
Well, you know what? And I'll tell you why I use that as an example, to be honest, because the guy I dated, that's an exact example. I was in a sports bar. This was during the Laker playoffs last season, the one that they just won. And first of all, I noticed him because I thought the same thing as you. Why is this guy in a sports bar during Laker playoffs in a suit?
Yeah.
I brought him a drink because I wanted to find out, who are you and what are you doing, and why did you not get a chance to change your suit? So I wanted to find out who this guy was. It started from there. We ended up dating about 6 months because he turned out to be a businessman who really was not off work but just kind of took a break from work. But point is, it got my attention. And my point, like I said before, is 15 years ago, that would have never got my attention. I was looking for something different.
Yeah, here's another question for both of you. I'm glad that, judging by the pictures, both black and white there on the panel. What percentage of women do you believe culturally across the racial lines, do you think that women really go for not just the rebels, but I mean really bad guys that don't like women, misogynists, guys that will beat them? What percentage do you think actually exists in America?
I honestly am proud to say I have no idea.
Well, it's sort of been a growing percentage partly because of the media making these guys seem so sexy. It has to do with the woman wanting that man's power, even though you're describing him as a thug. I mean, these are like what I would have described in my book as the lethal lovers, the prison guys.
You have a book?
Excuse me?
You have a book?
Yes. Glad you asked. Yes, the website is drcarole.com, which is drcarole.com. Okay. I talk about lethal lovers. And these are the guys, the reason why women are attracted to them, besides, their own upbringing, which was very devastating, is because it's like a lion circling the town with a thorn in his paw. And if this woman can take the thorn out of this lion's paw, everybody else in the village is shuddering and scared of this lion, just like people are scared of the thugs, the really bad thugs. And this woman, if this lion or this thug or this lethal lover lets the woman take the thorn out of his paw, then she all of a sudden becomes the most powerful person in the village because she was the one who was able to tame the thug. Now, she may just be able to tame him while he's behind bars, and when he gets out, he could start roaring again. But that's why women, that's the romantic attraction that these guys have for women.
Who was describing the fear of intimacy? I forget if it was you or the other lady on the panel.
Yes, I was, Dr.
You were.
Carol.
All right. Do you think that the fear of intimacy is more powerful as a non-motivator, as someone who is repulsed by that, someone who wants to go against intimacy, as opposed to the woman who doesn't mind getting beat? In other words, is it more painful to have love, lose it, than it is to get physically beat and not get love?
Well, the women who get physically beaten are the ones who were most desperate, were most easily taken in by these men who put her on this whirlwind courtship and seem incredibly possessive, because this is the first time that they've had a man they think at the beginning, so madly in love with them. And this is really feeding into what they've been desperate for all their life. And of course, the physical, they tolerate it for a while. They keep thinking that, the man begs forgiveness and says, I'll never do this again, and she wants to believe him. And so that's why she stays in it until sometimes, she winds up dead.
Let me add something to that, and I want to chime in because I was involved in a domestic violent relationship, but it also goes in opinion.
Well, I think we all go through phases like that, because I know even I did it myself. My father said, I don't want you dating anybody who, has used drugs, who's like a drunk, who's been in prison, jail or prison, who doesn't have a college degree. He had this whole long list. Girl, why did I go out and find? So it's like, you know what I mean? He was everything. Everything my parents said, don't mess with, this guy was that. But I was like 18, 19 years old. And, but I quickly got over that because it was just too much. It was just too much of a strain to be in a relationship and have to hide it from my family. And, the changes that this guy put me through, and I just couldn't deal with it. So I got my bad boy thing out of my system early, and I was done.
But even then, I have a question for you. Even then at 18, it's one thing for your parents to tell you, don't do this, don't do that. But in terms of the male images that were presented to you, that built your image of what kind of guy you'd even be attracted to at 18, who was responsible for that image? Was it your father? Was it your uncle? Was it men you watched on TV? What created the image of what you were attracted to?
Probably a combination of all of those things. Because I think really seriously, AJ, the only reason I was attracted to this guy was because he was forbidden fruit.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
That's a great conversation.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why some women are attracted to these guys, because it has to do with a rebelliousness of having to have been the good girl for too much of their lives, and this forbidden guy, with sulky guy in the corner means not just excitement, but it means rebelling against parents who told you what you should look out for.